This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner. Here today, Andrea Tantaros, host of Kennedy on our sister network, Fox Business Kennedy. Ainsley Earhardt. And
it is a busy news day. Thanks for having me.
See you.
You too.
All right, let's get right to it. Today's shocking turn of events again in that plane crash, what now looks like an intentional act of mass murder and kind of a light-handed screening in that those stigmas about mental evaluations too exist. I wonder if it's time to step away from some of that.
Well, we do it, I think, very well in this country, and that is monitor the pilots. They monitor.
Brother's a pilot.
So my older brother, Dean, is a pilot for United Airlines, and believe me, they monitor between these psychiatric exams. It's not like they're giving these pilots the exams every single week. But it's just such a sad, sad story to hear that the people were screaming in those final moments. And you wonder, too, I mean, I'm sure the prosecutors and the investigators are talking to his girlfriend to see if there were any mental signs. But, you know, I'm sitting here wondering, did the pilot try and get other men and women on the flight to help break down the door? I mean, what was happening in those final minutes? It's just so many questions we don't have answers.
There's a lot, though, on that recording.
I just wonder, you know, what's worse, the mystery of Erickson. Obamacare is such a disaster. Why doesn't she enumerate some of the truths about the health care law that have hurt small businesses and her husband, who had his back turned on him by Al Gore?
Needs her to not trash his legacy.
Yeah.
And so this sort of mutually assured destruction is preventing them from going after each other. She also needs his DOJ not to investigate her on the whole email thing. So they really do need one another. I do think they will pivot away, though, from the Obamas.
You guys have both worked on campaigns. Do you think they get together, or do they? You would know. Do they get together in a room and they just say?
They had
but I mean, do they actually
meeting.
Discuss? Hey, I'm going to support you, and then in return, I want your donor money, or I want your donors to support me. I mean,
generally, it's the people connected to the candidates who have going to be her disruption and downfall in 2016. Again, George Bush.
Well, we know they had that closed-door meeting. No cameras allowed.
Kids can have fun, not the screaming parents. They're not allowed to be there and attack the kids if they strike out. I think it's a wonderful way to show kids you are important.
Can I just say one thing about this, Ainsley? Because I actually agree with you about this. I know everyone gets mad because everyone gets a trophy, but when you get into high school, it's you don't get the after $13.
I mean, go find a vacation.
It's going to feel special and going to feel a part of it. Otherwise, what's your kid going to be doing? I mean, I'd rather pay $1,200 for my child to play a sport year-round, and I know where he is. He's not getting in trouble.
Look, if
a lot to be said for winning and losing.
Okay.
And, you know, I mean, you learn how to dust yourself off when you lose. If you don't get dusty,
but if you
6-year-old in Little League where they don't keep score, I can tell you the kids still keep score. They may have
there is value to that. There is value to
team, and you're in the middle of the pack.
I didn't get an amen for that.
No, amen. But Harris, I think we're assuming that these kids don't want to win. I think they want to win, but they also don't want to be screamed at. They don't want to have parents screaming at them. And to Kennedy's point, they can't get on these other teams. So what option are they left with? They want to win and they want to have fun, and they don't want to be screamed at. Again, that's how I feel.
Trust me, there are plenty of times in their life when they're going to have an opportunity to feel rejection and failure. I'm sure they're already feeling it in other areas of their life.
Unfortunately.
All right, so let's just hope that Congress is not run this way.
Exactly.
And you know what she did, right? Because you can tell by the angle of the car in that space.
But why not fix the problem?
Why not pay attention to the white lines and how other cars are parked?
Or, I don't know, throw the car in reverse and just take
Thank you, Ainsley.
I think it's funny. I love it. It gave us something to laugh about.
I know my husband is watching this right now, and he is like, you hypocrite. Pull my car up. I mean, it's different things.
No one rides.
I've been accused of being a bad driver. I think I'm a great.
I sit in the back seat and just in fear, clutching.
Miss Daisy sits in the back seat. Of course.
Comes to a driver, like when you ride in a taxi cab, don't you hate the stop, start, stop, start?
Yes.
Hate it.
Down south, my big pet peeve is the slow poke in the left lane. Get over.
Out the window and you see the person nudging the other two cars, bumping them, using it as a bumper. You just go, oh, if that were my car, I'd be so upset. Like when people do this to other people's cars.
When they parallel park.
But in D.C., Eric, you know this. I've lived there too. Diplomats and Congress people, they drive like maniacs because they think they have immunity.
Right. But I mean, it's kind of like gossip.
We're
going to stay right here for Outnumbered Overtime on the web, foxnews.com/outnumbered. Click on the Overtime tab. We're back for the TV version of us at noon Eastern. And when we go to Happening Now, you can bet they've got the very latest on the plane crash in France and all the details that have come in about the pilot, the co-pilot, who locked the door and deliberately landed that plane in crash mode.